All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live. We are sponsored by Craig Faile, the owner of Blackbridge Financial. Make sure you check out Blackbridge Financial for all of your money needs. They got some great tools to help you manage your money. Um, Check him out and reach out to Craig. He's a really good guy. This is our last episode of Friday Night Live this season, so I want to thank Craig for his sponsorship of Friday Night Live. It's a great opportunity to promote your business to a very dedicated group of people who come on at 11:45 or around that time every Friday night throughout the high school football season. So we really appreciate his belief in what we do at CFI. I actually met him at the JV Jamboree way back in August at Palisades, and man, you think back to then and where we are now, it's been a heck of a ride. And tonight's games were a heck of a ride for sure. It was pretty cool to kind of sit back and watch, four streams of the West games at the same time while doing some work that I had to do tonight. It really gives you a unique perspective of everything that's going on, and it really helps me prepare for this show because we can kind of talk about all four of those games involving the 704 area teams, Weddington, West Charlotte, Monroe, and Corvian. But to start off, I want to say congratulations to three of those schools, West Charlotte, Monroe, and Corvian, for winning their respective state semifinal games tonight, or Western Regional Finals, if you will. Um, the main one, obviously, that most of the people that watch this show want to talk about, who are still probably just now getting home from Hickory. Maybe I know there was a long celebration on the road team's field, but West Charlotte defeating Hickory 36-20. It was a really interesting game, man. There's a lot to break down from a football perspective in that one. But first, before we get into all that, I just want to say congratulations to Sam Griner. An excellent job of leading the West Charlotte Lions this season. A lot of people kind of felt like this team was good, but next year was going to be their time because they're so young and so talented. But as usual, well, whenever Sam is kind of doubted or questioned, he finds a way to rise above it and achieve things that people don't think he can achieve. And he definitely did that with this young and talented Lions team, which is definitely peaking at the right time of the season. We saw him way back in the regular season against Cox Mill in person, and the um, the play of Jamori Nichols at the quarterback spot is really exponentially growing. I wrote that in the article today, kind of previewing the games. Um, he's really doing an excellent job as far as running that kind of a spread zone read type of offense that they've employed, making smart decisions with the football. The biggest thing from tonight, I want to say this, West Charlotte, played a really, you know, uncharacteristic first half. And, they had some turnovers. Some defense gave up some plays to a very good Hickory offense. And, they could have really been down by multiple scores. And their defense made key plays to keep them in the game. And they were down 8. Now, we had a group chat, our CFI group chat. We were going real strong tonight. And, I told the guys, I said, as bad as they've played, they're only down 8 going into the halftime. And that was when I knew, they were going to find a way because they're too good to continue to play like that for the second half. And then the trend, they only had 6 on the board. The trend all season long with Hickory was that their offense was the strong suit and the defense was kind of the weaker side of the ball. So, you followed the trend. You kind of knew, okay, well, West Charlotte's going to get it going on offense. It's just a matter of when, and they came out in that third quarter and they got it going, man. They got it going. And the defense, and I'm going to get real technical here. I loved what they did defensively. Hickory burned them a couple times. And then they just said, you know what? We're going to bring slot pressure consistently and keep Brody Stober off balance. They were bringing slot pressure, and then they were mixing up the coverage looks behind it. It was really, really smart stuff. And I don't think anyone has ever seen Stober look like how he did tonight. A little, confused on where to throw the football, not throwing it on rhythm. They were really out of sync, and a major credit goes to that West Charlotte defense and how they were coached, and then the talent, putting, behind that coaching is really impressive. Especially to hold down a Hickory team that is that talented, and they've been together for so long. That's the other part of it. All right, well, let's go to the comments before I, turn this into a whole clinic here. And yeah, here we go. Dub C. Yep. Kim, it's good to see you. Shout out to the West Side, Dakota McCann. It's good to see you too, Dakota. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of fans are on the road coming from Corvian, coming all the way from Burnsville, way out in the mountains, 2.5 hours from where I live. So, and then on the bus, they're I know they're on the road. Monroe's at home. They had a really impressive win over Brevard, 41-15. That game was not close. And I was watching it, and it was evident that the speed of Monroe was just too much for Brevard. Monroe got up 28-0 in that game and just kind of cruised the rest of the way. Just dynamic stuff. Quarterback Kagan Chambers is he's an incredible dual threat quarterback who's playing some excellent football. You got to credit, head coach Johnny Soul, what he's doing with that group. He's had those guys for a while. Jordan Young, I saw made a couple of big plays as usual. But their speed on both sides of the ball. I mean, Brevard was trying to, kind of run off tackle, get outside. It just wasn't happening. And then, they're scoring touchdowns, and they're like 5 and 10 yards behind the secondary throwing the football. And I see, Golden looking and seeing Chambers, running the ball, and he's just pulling away from guys. And it's literally, there was one play on the stream. He's the only one running. And I looked at it because I didn't see it, in full. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy's just warming up. But it was, it was incredible, man. So Monroe is moving on to play for a state championship. And then Corvian and Mountain Heritage, that was a really good game. That was a back and forth game, especially when it got to the third quarter. Both teams were trading blows. It was a heavyweight fight. And then Corvian was able to get one more score when they were up. I believe it was 20-19. They were able to get one more touchdown in the middle of the fourth quarter and got a 2-point conversion to make it 28-19. And at that point, once it got to be outside of a one-score game, you didn't feel like Mountain Heritage was going to be able to win the game. Mountain Heritage is a heavy run team. They kind of run, I would call it a modified Wildcat. They kind of load up heavy to one side, and their quarterback is a really good player. He rushed for over 1,800 yards this season, and he was the guy that made that thing go for them. But A.J. Jackson, Cameron Johnson, Douglas Quarles, Adrian Scott, and all those guys played really well tonight. And I got to shout out head coach Chris Emile. Doing a great job. Doing a great job to get Corby into a state title game. Um, so early in that school's infancy is very impressive. So congratulations to Corvian and those guys for getting it done. All right. Kim Cotton, I know you are happy. Shouting out the Lions. And rightfully so. I saw your son had a major play in that second half to give the Lions the lead. I think it was the go-ahead touchdown, right? I think that's what producer Brandon Black was there, and he was able to provide updates on Twitter for us. So I really appreciate him going up there and doing that. I would have loved to be there. But we'll try to reach out to a couple of West Charlotte guys and try to reach out to Coach Griner, see if they're interested in doing an interview, sometime this weekend. 'Cause I would literally love to, kind of catch up with him and congratulate him. We covered his first run at Harding when he won the title in 2017, and we were at every game. And that was one of the best times I've had covering high school football. That was really cool. And you guys on the West Charlotte run, enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's special. It's special. It doesn't happen that often. I know sometimes you feel like you're going to be there every year. And, for Sam, it's been a while. It's been 7 years since he won the title in 2017. And, that's a long time. It's a long time. So I know he's enjoying it. And you fans, you deserve it. You enjoy the ride too. And take a lot of pictures because, you want to memorialize that stuff as much as you can, man. Summer Blevins says, very proud of them, made necessary adjustments, most definitely showed up. I will say this running back Lackey from Hickory is a monster. Yeah. He's selected for the bowl game for a reason. He's a heck of a player, man. Yeah, it was a good game. That third quarter when West Charlotte took control, I could feel the momentum from the stream, flipping over, very quickly. And sometimes you just know, and being around football for so long, when Hickory missed those opportunities in the first half and West Charlotte was struggling, you knew it was going to come back to bite them because West Charlotte's, too good of a team to keep them in the game when you got them down. That's for sure. That's for sure. Chat administrator here sharing his basketball update. At least it was a good game. All right. And then Miss Wilson, that's obvious. They can't play in the bowl game. They cannot play in the bowl game. So, the bowl game put out a message I thought was nice that congratulated the players that were selected for the game, and I wish them the best of luck in the state championship game next week, and also shouted out Coach Griner as well because he was selected to be the coach of the West team. So obviously they will not be there. And I can tell you that there will be an update coming out from the bowl game very soon. Hopefully tomorrow. Obviously there's going to be some spots open because players are playing in the state championship. So we'll have some different players that will be playing in the bowl game. And all that stuff will be announced as soon as it's finalized. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts going on with all that stuff. So just stay tuned. It'll be an active weekend for the Queen City Senior Bowl and probably some of the other bowl games. Because they probably got some guys on those teams as well. So there'll be some announcements for sure. J-Man is here. He's shouting out Grimsley. Yeah, we didn't talk about that one yet. The 1704 team that lost. Grimsley came back to defeat Weddington, and it was an incredible second half in that game. Weddington kind of took control in the first half, It was their kind of ball game in the first half. Weddington led 10-0 at halftime, and it was a defensive game. Weddington was, running the ball a bit. They were mixing in some short passes, and they had control. They had control. I mean, watching it on the stream, Grimsley, couldn't get anything going offensively. I mean, they had it, and then Grimsley went in at halftime, and I don't know what they adjusted. But in the first half, the Weddington defensive front was able to control the line of scrimmage. But in the second half, Grimsley, I mean, when have you guys ever seen Weddington give up 35 points in one half? Think about that. That's how incredible that second half was for Grimsley. And you know, sometimes it's just your time. And right now, I think it's just Grimsley's time, man. Those guys are doing a heck of a job. What they did to Huff last week and then putting 35 on Weddington in one half. I don't think anyone in the state could imagine that. That is just absolutely incredible. If you would have told me Grimsley scored 35, I'd have been like, okay, I mean, things happen. But in one half against that defensive front is you just gotta say hats off. You gotta say hats off. And I'm sure Weddington would tell them the same thing. Hey, better team won. Coach Capone's a stand-up guy, and I'm sure he, that's what he would say. Trayvon Gaither checking in. Mitchell Summers is a monster. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I know the young man has a couple of a D2 offers, but I don't know what else he needs to do to show that he's deserving of a chance on a higher level. Like I told you guys before, he came to our summer showcase that we had 2 years ago and was easily a top 5 performer. And one of the offers he has, Winston-Salem State, they were there. They saw him. And I'm sure that's why he's got that offer, because they were able to see him up close. But I mean, there's nothing else you can really say about the young man. He's a great young man. I met him. Obviously, he was at the camp. Great personality. A yes sir, no sir kind of kid. The key with him, man, his feet are so quick. Excellent footwork in and out of the hole, and he explodes once he hits it, man. It's really, really, really good stuff, man. Gaither also says he reminds me of Tariq Cohen. Yeah. He definitely puts you because of that size. And you guys that know recruiting, it's a size game, man. It really is. And it sucks. It sucks, but you can have 3,000 yards, but if you don't have that college size that they're looking for, you're gonna get, looked down upon. But hopefully he's earned, a chance to go out there and prove it. And you go to the next level, you prove it somewhere. Like I said at the showcase last week, transfer portal's there. You prove it in one place, and if you want to go somewhere else and you prove it and you got the film to back it up, you can go in the portal and you can go get anything you want, But your key is you gotta have some film. And I don't want to start preaching, but yeah, there we go. All right, so now we need to talk about who these guys are playing next week. So let me go to the NCHSAA site and tell you what the championship games are, because some of you may want to go. So we'll let you know what you're gonna be looking at. All right, we'll start at 4A, and we're gonna have a rematch in 4A, because on the other side of things, we had Rolesville defeat Cardinal Gibbons in a good game, 38-31. If you'll remember, Grimsley and Rolesville played a non-conference game at Rolesville earlier this season. Grimsley dominated that game. They won 35-20, but it really wasn't even that close. So we've said this before. When we have these rematches, it's not necessarily going to play out like the first time. Different players, may be available, and then you learn, different things. So we've got a rematch in the state championship game between Grimsley and Rollsville. That should be a very good game. We know how good Rollsville is, obviously, um, for what they did to Butler and what else they've done, throughout the season. In 3A, we're going to have an excellent game. This game is going to be must-see TV. So we know West Charlotte's going to be there. And then Fayetteville 71st will be there again. Last year, they lost to Hickory in the state championship game in a very good game. This year, they are back. They defeated Jacksonville tonight 43-7. They are a senior-heavy team with a lot of talent. They run the football very well. The thing about them is this is going to be a really fun matchup on both sides of the ball, because I think what 71st does offensively, it's going to be interesting to see how West Charlotte will take that on, because they have athletes that can match, what West Charlotte has. And then you flip it on the defensive side of the ball, they've got the guys that can match up, with the Lions defensively, much more so than Hickory tonight. I would say, and it's funny that he just pops up, our Dudley guy, because I was going to say they have athletes on the level of a Dudley. So you West Charlotte fans, you start thinking about, how Dudley looked on defense. 71st is going to look, similar to that. They've got that kind of athletic level on their team. So, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. Some mirror images, I would say. West Charlotte is more of a spread offense. They throw it more, but 71st can really run the football, and they can throw it when they need to, but they're more of, I would say, 70-30 run pass type of offense. But that's going to be a fun game, for sure. All right, and now in 2A, we're going to have Monroe, who blew past Brevard, who I mentioned earlier. And they're going to play the 1 seed Northeastern, who beat Whiteville 24-14 tonight. Admittedly, I know nothing about Northeastern, so I will have to do some homework for the show next week about Northeastern to kind of, talk about, how that matchup looks. But Monroe's speed and athleticism, the way, Chambers is playing at quarterback, I've got to favor Monroe. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. And then in 1A, of course, we talked about Corvian defeating Mountain Heritage tonight, 28-19. They are going on to play. Let's see if I get it on the screen here. Oh, that monster in Tarboro. Man, they are a machine. They defeated Wilson Prep, the 3 seed. They are the 3 seed now. 59-6. God almighty. Tarboro has been running through the playoffs. Their second round, because they had a first round bye in 1A. Second round game, they won 55-6. The third round game, they won 71-0. Fourth round game, 50-0, and then 59-6 over Wilson Prep in the regional final. My goodness. Wow. Tarboro, they're going to run the football in that famous Tarboro T. So, Corby, they know what they're going to get. Now, Tarboro did lose earlier this season to Havelock, who was a very good team out east. And Havelock threw the ball all over the place. So, Corvian can throw the football. They're more of a run team, but they can throw it. And, I think that might be something they look at doing this week in their preparation, because Tarboro is, they see the run all the time. So, But anyway, those are your matchups. And I think the state released the championship game schedule, so we should know. Okay, so 2A and 4A games are going to be at North Carolina. That's University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. The 4A game, Grimsley, Rolesville. That's great for them because it's right there for Rolesville. Isn't that convenient? I don't want to get on the soapbox. Uh, 4A game is Friday night, December 20th at 7 p.m. And the 2A game, which would be Monroe and Northeastern, will be Saturday night, December 21st at 6:30 p.m. And then our Dudley guy is saying Northeastern got some athletes out in Elizabeth City. Okay, well, we'll see if the Elizabeth City athletes compare to the 704 Monroe athletes. I don't know. I don't know. That's no slight against Northeastern. I just got to do some research. So if you Northeastern fans see this, I am not slighting you. All right, and then 1A and 3A are going to be at NC State University in Raleigh. So the 3A matchup we just talked about between West Charlotte and 71st. Oh, man. See, I hate that it's this early. 11 a.m. on Saturday, man. West Charlotte fans, just go up there Friday and get your room, man. Naughty. 11 a.m. Saturday. Oh, man. I was hoping for an evening matchup, but that's okay. So West Charlotte fans, I would just plan to stay Friday night and get on up, do a little early breakfast tailgate, then go up there and support your team. And then the 1A matchup between Corvian and Tarboro will be Saturday at NC State at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. All right, so there you go. So before we sign off, there's one last comment from Jackson here. It says, do the kids that can't compete in the bowl still get a jersey or memento of some sort? It was a great honor being selected. Well, I will tell you, Jackson, that we do heavy promotion, for every player that's selected. And we try to make that selection as special as possible because we know things come up. There are some kids outside of those kids that can't play because of injury. Some kids, have other stuff going on. So we try to make the experience all the way through from when they're selected to, through the end of the game. We try to make it very memorable. And I'll just make the statement that think about the other kids that were selected for the other games. What do they have from those games to hang their hat on? We just did a media day at Metro School this past Sunday. That's where you see all the pictures. If you follow the Queen City Senior Bowl account, you'll go and see all the pictures of the kids that were selected from that game, or that came to the media day, I should say. That's a memory that they'll have. Some of those kids got interviewed. It's a memory they'll have. The scouting reports we created for every player, that's a memento that they have. The selection show that they were on, that's a memento that they'll have. The graphics that we create when they get selected, that's a memento that they'll have. So to answer your question, they have plenty of mementos. And I'll share this. I sent a message to Coach Griner and I told him, I said, I appreciate, because West Charlotte had 3 players selected. Those 3 players came to the media day. And, I sent a message to Coach Griner and said, thank you for those guys coming out to the media day. And he told me that, I wanted them to get the experience. I wanted them to have that, feeling to put the jersey on and take a picture because, we're not going to play in this game. So, in typical Sam Griner fashion, he was, confident that they were going to go out there and win tonight, and they went out and they did that. So there you go. So I can tell you that, all those kids are very appreciative of the selection, and they've been nothing but first class. And, like I said, The bowl game wishes them the very best, and they want all three to come back with the state championship because that's what it's all about, man. But the kids playing in the bowl game, there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming up. The bowl game likes to call it the best or the most exciting week in Charlotte high school football. So um, it will be that. That's all I'll say. It will be that. All right. Well, we've reached the end of Friday Night Live. Once I like I said before, this is the last Friday Night Live of the season. So I appreciate all you guys that continuously support what we do here at Charlotte Football Insiders. And once again, thank you goes out to Craig Faile, who sponsored this show, the owner of Blackbridge Financial, for his support throughout this season. We will have our last Football Focus Weekly on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on these same outlets. Make sure you come out. Make sure you get on the stream and check us out, man. The last show of the year is always a fun one. We have a lot of fun on it. We'll talk about the championship games, and we'll do some kind of recapping stuff for the season. So I'll try to get everybody on the show for the final run. And if you are involved with the Queen City Senior Bowl, we'll see you out at practice this week. Practice is Monday through Thursday this week, or next week, I should say, at Olympic and Rocky River High Schools. So feel free to come out, check out practice. It's a little cold, so dress warm if you do. And then at the game, come out to the bowl game, support the kids. The game is Saturday, 12 p.m. at Olympic High School. It'll be a really great experience, and we look forward to having the 6th annual Queen City Senior Bowl be one of the best ones ever. I think we've got some really good kids, got some good coaches. There's a lot of interest in the game this year, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow Queen City Senior Bowl outlets on social media. We'll have a lot of updates this weekend, and of course, next week leading up to the game. Congratulations once again to West Charlotte, Monroe, and Corvian for winning those big games tonight. And it's a great season for the Weddington Warriors and head coach Andy Capone. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your support this season. And thanks for staying up late with me. It means a lot. Have a good weekend. And go Panthers. Knocking out them Cowboys.